1. Morikawa's shock caddy choice, legend Billy Foster for the Open. Golf news. 2. Genesis Scottish Open 2025 preview, Scheffler, McIlroy and top 5 players battle on Links PGA Tour. 3. Collin Morikawa hires legendary caddy Billy Foster for the Open and Scottish Open. 4. Collin Morikawa teams up with legendary caddy Billy Foster for Scottish Open and Open Championship. 1. Morikawa's shock caddy choice, legend Billy Foster for the Open. Golf news. Collin Morikawa's quest for a caddy partner has led him to a truly remarkable connection, a legendary, major-winning looper with a storied career. It's a fascinating glimpse into the meticulous process a top golfer undertakes to refine his game and find the perfect support system. Just a few months ago, Collin Morikawa parted ways with his longtime caddy, J.J. Jakovic, marking the beginning of a somewhat extended search for the right fit. He'd previously worked with Joe Grainer for 5 events, but ultimately decided to move on, a decision that sparked a period of experimentation and reflection. Interestingly, he briefly utilized a college teammate as a caddy during the Rocket Classic, but quickly pivoted to a more focused 2-week trial with Billy Foster, a potential long-term solution. This week, we're seeing the fruits of that search, a video posted by the DP World Tour showcasing Morikawa and Foster on the range at the 2025 Genesis Scottish Open. Ben Parsons from Bunker.com reports that Morikawa and Foster will be collaborating through the Scottish Open and the prestigious Open Championship at Royal Portrush. Foster's impressive resume includes stints with iconic figures like Seve Ballesteros, Darren Clarke, Thomas Bjorn, and most recently, Matt Fitzpatrick, who secured the 2022 U.S. Open with Foster by his side, a testament to the impact a skilled caddy can have. But here's where it gets controversial. Morikawa's pursuit of a winning formula isn't just about finding the ideal caddy. He's actively tinkering with his own game, pushing boundaries and exploring unconventional approaches. At the Travelers Championship, he notably experimented with hitting several shots without a glove, a bold move that, surprisingly, seemed to yield positive results. As he explained, when it comes down to it, our hands are what makes us such good athletes and such good golfers, because we have so much feel. He's even gone as far as practicing without shoes, a testament to his dedication to finding that elusive feel. Further illustrating this experimental approach, Morikawa made strategic adjustments after a disappointing first round at the Rocket Classic. He switched to a custom-designed putter from TaylorMade and consciously focused on hitting straighter, more draw-shaped shots, moving away from his usual cut. While he experienced a slight setback at the Travelers Championship, losing over 3 strokes on approach, his iron game rebounded significantly in Detroit thanks to this deliberate shift. He admitted, "I'm playing a slightly different shot than I would ideally like, but there comes a point where I just have to stop fighting it and I just have to go out and play golf." Morikawa's desire for ownership over his game is also evident in his approach to the caddy selection process. After his split with Jakovic, he expressed a renewed commitment to taking a more active role in his own strategy, moving away from solely relying on numbers and yardages. He stated, "A few weeks ago, I might have just stepped up and hit a pitching wedge. Where today I'm really trying to describe the shot in as much detail, and that's how I've always played. It's just going back to that." This extended search for a caddy isn't just about finding someone to carry clubs, it's about finding a partner who understands his approach and complements his style. When he ultimately parted ways with Grainer, Morikawa acknowledged that the dynamic simply wasn't aligning. He explained, "I think Joe is an amazing caddy, but I think just the way we kind of saw things, or just day to day, how we kind of went about it, we were just a little bit on a different page. That doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but for me it just didn't feel right." He emphasized that this process was always going to involve trial and error, a common reality in the world of professional golf. He even confessed that he spends more time with potential caddies than with his wife. Now, Billy Foster enters the picture, and the hope is that he'll be the key to unlocking Morikawa's potential. If the connection proves to be the right one, this collaboration could extend well beyond the Scottish Open and the Open Championship at Royal Portrush. But if not, Morikawa will undoubtedly return to the drawing board, continuing his relentless pursuit of that perfect golfing synergy. He's close, he's been close all year, and the question remains, will Foster be the catalyst that finally brings it all together? Do you think it's crucial for a golfer to have a deep, personal connection with their caddy, or is it primarily a professional relationship focused on strategy and support? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. ***. 2. Genesis Scottish Open 2025 Preview, Scheffler, McIlroy and top 5 players battle on Links PGA Tour. The PGA Tour is making a transatlantic trip for the Genesis Scottish Open, and this year's event could be one of the most exciting yet. With a stellar lineup of golf's biggest names and a course that tests even the best players, this tournament is more than just a stop on the calendar, it's a pivotal moment in the season. But here's where it gets controversial. While the field is stacked with stars, some of the most intriguing storylines revolve around under-the-radar players and the pressure of the Open qualifying series. Let's break it down. The Genesis Scottish Open is set to feature a lineup that reads like a who's who of golf. World number 1 Scottie Scheffler, who's been on a tear with 9 straight top 10 finishes, returns after a break since the Travelers Championship. Rory McIlroy, a 2-time winner of this event, is back to chase another title, while Xander Schauffele and Justin Thomas bring their own track records of consistency. Collin Morikawa, fresh off a win in 2024, is making waves with a new caddy, legendary looper Billy Foster, who's been a key figure in major championship successes. Meanwhile, US Open champion J.J. Spaun is looking to build on his recent form, and Robert McIntyre aims to become the first player in history to win back-to-back at this event. But this isn't just about the stars. The tournament's role as the final Open qualifying series event means the stakes are higher than ever for players vying for a spot at the Open at Royal Portrush. Looking at the rankings, the top 5 in the world are all in the field, but the FedEx Cup standings add another layer of intrigue. Scottie Scheffler leads both the world rankings and the FedEx Cup, but players like Sepp Straka and J.J. Spaun are closing in. The course itself, the Renaissance Club, is a classic links layout that's as challenging as it is beautiful. Designed by Tom Doak, it's carved into 300 acres of pine forest, with strategic tree placement and coastal holes that test accuracy. The 72-hole record of 262, set by Bernd Weisberger in 2019 and Robert McIntyre in 2024, and the 18-hole record of 61, achieved by multiple players, highlight just how tough this course can be. But what about the underdogs? Luke Clanton, a rookie with mixed results this season, and David Ford, a PGA Tour University standout, are among the sponsor exemptions. Alex Noren, who missed much of 2025 due to injury, is back to build on his 2016 victory here. And while the big names dominate the headlines, it's the smaller stories, like McIntyre's dramatic 2024 win or the tension of the Open qualifying series, that often define the tournament. Speaking of 2024, the final round was a thriller. McIntyre overcame a 3-shot deficit on the back 9, including a jaw-dropping approach shot on the 16th that set up an eagle and a one-stroke victory. It was a moment that captivated fans and cemented his status as a home country hero. For those tuning in, the action is spread across multiple platforms. Golf Channel and CBS will broadcast the weekend, while ESPN Plus offers live coverage from Thursday through Sunday. But here's a question to ponder: with so many top players in the field, will the tournament be decided by pure skill, or will the unpredictable nature of links golf create surprises? And this is the part most people miss: the sponsor exemptions, while giving opportunities to lesser-known players, also raise debates about fairness. Do you think the Open qualifying series is the fairest way to determine the Open entries, or should the field be entirely based on rankings? Share your thoughts below. Whether you're a fan of the big names or rooting for the underdogs, there's something for everyone at the Genesis Scottish Open. 3. Collin Morikawa hires legendary caddy Billy Foster for the Open and Scottish Open. Breaking news: Collin Morikawa's bold move to team up with a golfing legend will leave you speechless. Here's why it matters. Imagine being at the top of your game, yet feeling like something crucial is missing: that's exactly where Collin Morikawa, one of golf's brightest stars, finds himself. In a stunning twist, the two-time major champion has made a jaw-dropping decision ahead of the Open at Royal Portrush. He's bringing on board none other than the iconic caddy Billy Foster. But here's where it gets intriguing. This isn't just a random hire, it's a calculated move during a whirlwind of changes in Morikawa's career. Curious? Let's dive into the details and uncover why this partnership could be a game-changer, or a risky gamble. Stay in the loop with all things golf. Subscribe to our daily newsletter for the latest updates, expert insights, exclusive offers on subscriptions, event tickets, and unbeatable deals from our trusted partners. Collin Morikawa, currently ranked world number 5, has been on a quest to find the perfect caddy after a series of surprising splits. Just last month, he parted ways with Joe Grainer before the Rocket Classic in Detroit, marking the end of a brief partnership. But this wasn't Morikawa's first caddy shakeup. Earlier this year, in late April, he ended his long-standing relationship with J.J. Jackovic, the only caddy he'd ever worked with as a professional. These changes signal a golfer in search of the magic formula to elevate his game, but will Billy Foster be the missing piece of the puzzle? For those new to golf, a caddy is far more than just someone who carries a player's bag. Think of them as a strategic partner, a confidant, and sometimes even a psychologist on the course. They help read greens, choose clubs, and manage the mental pressures of high-stakes tournaments. So, when a player like Morikawa switches caddies, it's a big deal, and in this case, it's an even bigger deal because of who he's chosen. Enter Billy Foster, a name that resonates deeply in the golfing world. This isn't just any caddy. Foster is a legend with a career spanning over 4 decades, having worked with golfing giants like Seve Ballesteros, Darren Clarke, and Lee Westwood. His resume is packed with accolades, but his most recent chapter ended in March when he and Matt Fitzpatrick, the 2022 U.S. Open champion, parted ways after 6 years. And this is the part most people miss. Foster had actually planned to step back from full-time caddying this year, citing the toll of constant travel, especially across the Atlantic. So, why would a veteran like Foster, who's nearing 60, take on a new challenge with Morikawa? That's the million-dollar question. Here's what we know. Morikawa and Foster are teaming up for a 2-week trial run, starting at the Genesis Scottish Open at the Renaissance Club and continuing through the Open at Royal Portrush, the final major of the season. This short-term arrangement is a strategic move by Morikawa, who is still on the hunt for a permanent caddy. But here's where it gets controversial. Is a temporary partnership with a caddy of Foster's caliber a brilliant stroke of genius, or is it a recipe for disaster? After all, building trust and chemistry between a golfer and caddy takes time, and 2 weeks might not be enough to make a meaningful impact, especially in high-pressure events like majors. To put this into perspective, let's look at Morikawa's recent track record. After splitting with Jackovic, he briefly worked with Grainer, who previously caddied for Max Homa. But that partnership fizzled out after just 5 events, with Morikawa failing to make a strong showing at the PGA Championship or the US Open. Reflecting on the split, Morikawa said, "Even if 2 people are exceptional at their jobs, it doesn't guarantee we'll click. Joe is a phenomenal caddy, but our approaches and daily routines just didn't align perfectly." This candid admission highlights a critical truth in golf: compatibility is everything. For example, imagine trying to solve a puzzle with someone who sees the pieces differently. No matter how skilled you both are, the picture won't come together seamlessly. Before heading to Scotland, Morikawa had a friend and Corn Ferry Tour player, KK Limhassett, step in as his caddy at the Rocket Classic, where he finished a respectable T8. But now, with the stakes higher than ever, he's turning to Foster's wealth of experience for his upcoming Links Golf Challenges in July. Links courses, for those unfamiliar, are a unique style of golf course typically found in coastal regions, known for their sandy soil, strong winds, and unpredictable terrain. Navigating these courses requires not just skill but also strategic mastery, exactly the kind of expertise Foster brings to the table. But here's the twist: Foster himself has hinted that this could be a short and sweet collaboration. Having already planned to scale back his caddying commitments, he's not looking for a long-term role. In fact, before his split with Fitzpatrick, Foster had intended to share caddying duties with Fitzpatrick's new full-time looper, Dan Parrott, as a way to ease into a less demanding schedule. So, what does this mean for Morikawa? On one hand, Foster's experience could provide the edge Morikawa needs to claim his first victory since the Zozo Championship in 2023. On the other hand, the temporary nature of this partnership raises questions about whether it's worth the risk, especially when Morikawa is still searching for stability. And this is the part that could spark debate. Some might argue that Morikawa's frequent caddy changes reflect a deeper issue, perhaps a struggle to adapt or a lack of clarity in what he needs from a caddy. Others might see it as a sign of a player who's unafraid to take bold risks to achieve greatness. What do you think? Is Morikawa's decision to bring on Foster for just 2 weeks a masterstroke, or is it a desperate move by a golfer grasping for answers? Share your thoughts in the comments below, we'd love to hear your take. Written by Ben Parsons, senior writer and golf enthusiast, who brings you the latest scoops from both the professional and amateur golfing worlds. A proud member of Halifax Golf Club, Ben is also a devoted, and often heartbroken, fan of Manchester United and the Wales rugby team. 4. Collin Morikawa teams up with legendary caddy Billy Foster for Scottish Open and Open Championship. Collin Morikawa is making a significant change to his team as he's bringing veteran caddy Billy Foster on board for both the Genesis Scottish Open and the prestigious Open Championship. This news has sparked considerable interest within the golf world, and it's a move that's already generating discussion about the dynamic between player and caddy. Foster's resume speaks for itself. He's a highly experienced professional with a remarkable track record, having previously supported major champions like Seve Ballesteros and Matt Fitzpatrick. Notably, he was on Fitzpatrick's bag when the Englishman secured victory at the 2022 US Open, a truly historic moment. However, Foster's relationship with Fitzpatrick ended just a few months ago, after 6 years of collaboration. He explained to bunker.co.uk that the frequent travel involved in his career was beginning to take its toll, stating he doesn't anticipate this partnership with Morikawa becoming a long-term commitment, a sentiment understandable given his age of 59. Morikawa's recent caddy history has been somewhat turbulent. He parted ways with J.J. Jakovic, his only caddy throughout his professional career, in April. Following that, he worked with Joe Grainer for a brief period before their collaboration dissolved just before the Rocket Classic in Detroit. Morikawa himself described the split as a matter of differing perspectives, emphasizing that simply being skilled doesn't guarantee compatibility. He stated, "Just because two people are great at what they do doesn't mean we're going to be great together." During the Detroit Golf Club event, Morikawa relied on former college teammate KK Limhassett, who achieved a commendable T8 finish. Now, Foster will be joining Morikawa for the upcoming events, including the Open Championship at Royal Portrush. Morikawa, currently ranked 5th in the world, is aiming for his first victory since the 2023 Zozo Championship in Japan. But here's where it gets controversial. Will this short-term partnership be enough to unlock Morikawa's potential and propel him to a much-deserved win? And this is the part most people miss. Foster's experience with high-pressure situations, particularly with Fitzpatrick at the US Open, could be invaluable. Do you think a fresh caddy will significantly impact Morikawa's performance, or is it simply a tactical adjustment? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.